Good morning, Devils fans. We're talking about the only other defenseman to be signed for another 5 seasons on this team, as today's player spotlight is on Jonas Siegenthaler. Born May 6, 1997, he grew up in Zurich, Switzerland to his Swiss father and Thai mother. Now, I'm sure someone's going to be able to find this information, but with the bit of digging that I did, I could not find his parents' names, the first player so far in the series that I was not able to get that information for. So if anyone finds that out, please throw it in the comments because I'm a bit interested why every article and everything just references them as his Swiss father and Thai mother. So Jonas is the first known NHL player of Thai descent. He has been interviewed and asked about this multiple times, and he does take a lot of pride in being that representation in the NHL. And he wears it on his sleeve. He still visits his mother's home village in Thailand, but a bit more on that later. So, growing up in Zurich, Switzerland, Siegs would spend almost his entire time playing hockey over there with the ZSC and their affiliates. This is a team out of Zurich. So, from about the time he was 12 until he made his NHL debut, he played on one of the ZSC affiliates. So, obviously progressing throughout the different leagues in Switzerland as he went, he would find his way to the National League A, the top league in Switzerland, with the ZSC Lions in 2013-14. Although considered a potential top-round talent at the 2015 NHL entry draft, Siegs would end up getting drafted 57th overall by the Washington Capitals. He would remain loaned out to the ZSC Lions for the remainder of their season and would allow him to develop further. After their first-round exit, Siegs came over to the Capitals' AHL affiliate, the Hershey Bears. Upon the start of the 2016-17 season, Siegs was once again with the ZSC Lions. Then, after being knocked out this time in the quarterfinals, again returned to the Hershey Bears mid-March 2017. Siegs would be recalled to the big club from Hershey thanks to 2 injuries on the Caps' blue line, and would make his NHL debut on November 8, 2018, in a loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Siegs would continue to bounce between healthy scratch, down in Hershey, or starting with the Capitals. Eventually, December 15, 2018, he would record his first point in a win over the Carolina Hurricanes with an assist on an OV goal. He would not score a goal in his rookie year. The first goal of his would come 44 games into his career on November 9th, 2019, 1 year and 1 day after his NHL debut, in a win over the Vegas Golden Knights. Sieg would continue this season as well, bouncing between starter and healthy scratch between this and the next season, mostly due to the veteran-loaded blue line the Capitals were choosing to run. In total, Siegs would end up with 2 goals, 13 points in 97 regular season games, and 0 points in 11 playoff games as a Washington Capital. Siegs did start the 2020-21 season with the Caps, where he put up 0 points in 7 games, spending most of the season as a healthy scratch, before being moved at the trade deadline to the New Jersey Devils for a 3rd-round pick in the 2021 draft. The Devils would end up extending Siegs twice. First, a 2-year contract at $2.25 per, and then a 5-year, $17 million contract, which is 4 years remaining, and a 10-team no-trade clause takes effect after this upcoming season. Siegs as a Devil in total would put up 35 points in 158 regular season games and 3 points in 11 playoff games. So what about his play on the ice? Well, those blistering production numbers will show you offense isn't the name of Siegs' game. So obviously, if you're not generating any offense, you have to be a rock on defense, and that's what Siegs is. He's one of the absolute best in the league at preventing the other team from entering the zone with possession, which means generally teams will need to play a dump and chase game against Siegs, where he is also above average in retrieving pucks and in exiting the zone. So you can see the type of game situations he would thrive in. He's also one of the best at preventing chances after zone entries. So if you combine all of that, Siegs is one of the best in defending against a rush while facilitating it back the other way. He's certainly much better in the denial portion of that equation than he is in the facilitating, but it is part of his game. So it's pretty obvious why he is paired with Dougie. Siegs prevents the puck from getting into the zone. If it does get into the zone, he is very good at preventing chances against in the zone. And then he is good at retrievals and then transition, usually passing to his D partner, and the D partner making those exit type plays. So this type of play obviously fits very well with our system, so it's no surprise we locked him into that longer term deal, especially given his age, and then, that Swiss connection doesn't hurt as well. So off the ice, there was not much I could really find with Siegs. He's fine in interviews when he does do them. He's seemingly a great teammate, meshes well in the room. He does like going back to Thailand, keeping touch with his mom's side of the family. Always gets funny stares while over there due to his and his dad's size compared to basically everyone else. Always a nice little quip he throws in there basically in any interview where he's asked about that. And that's generally it. I didn't see any sort of, charity type programs or stuff like that he does. Generally, the lower in the lineup guys, you're just going to find less and less about off-ice stuff unless they are boombastic in some sort of way, just because media tends to focus on the big faces and big names. But hockey players like that more low-key lifestyle anyway. So what can we expect from Siegs going forward? Well, there's no reason for him to be going anywhere else but staying here, at least for the terms of this contract, especially when that partial no trade kicks in. I mean, I could even see him being here beyond that on a shorter term deal, maybe another 2 or 3 years, depending on how his game has continued to age. But I think it's going to age quite well. He's going to be a staple on the left side in a top 4 role. He's pairing for almost for sure going to start off with Dougie, and then it'll really depend on what Luke does. And the kind of deployment we need. Do we absolutely need some offense? Well, then Luke probably maybe bounces up with Dougie. Siegs moves down to more of a shut line role with Marino. But we've seen Siegs and Dougie really start to build that chemistry together. So I expect them to play a lot of time throughout this season. So whether it's that balance pairing or shutdown role, Siegs is going to get his ice time, especially because he's probably the go-to guy on the penalty kill along with John Marino. By the end of his contract, he'll have turned 30. So we have him signed for the best years of his career. Even in a world where he potentially drops to a third pairing, say if like a Kevin Ball or some other move is made where we bring in a guy that would be put in above him, I don't really see that happening. I think at worst, Luke moves up to top line, sees as the second line guy, or if you just want to go by time on ice, that type of situation. But I think he's pretty firmly in our top 4. But even if he did drop to the third line, his cap hit, especially from percentage standpoint as we get into these big cap bump years, is going to be negligible and will just look better and better as time goes on. Like I said before, I think his game will age well. Not something we're going to need to worry about. So we're in a great spot with Siegs. Again, locking him in for the best years of his career, contract ending at 30, it's about the best you can really hope for in an NHL defenseman signing. Typically, you get these guys in the waning of their career, 28 plus. Instead, we got this guy in his best years. So, top 3 plays for Siegenthaler for me. Now, he's not an offensive dynamo. He's really just the rock, like I said, on the defense. A good defenseman is not those flashy plays, so you don't have too much that you really want to stand out from these kind of guys. I didn't want to just do a general overall game vibe for Siegs. So the top 3 I did come up with was, I think it was his second, maybe third goal as a Devil, where he had that red line score against Carolina, where he basically skated it down the left wall like he's wont to do. But instead of going about halfway down like he did on his first goal as a Devil and scoring, he went all the way down to the red line, almost starting to wrap around the net before he let go of the puck and somehow, some way snuck it in past the goalie. It was just such a crazy goal, especially coming from Siegenthaler. It just always sticks out in my mind. So I did now bounce between which one of these next 2 I wanted at 1 and 2. But in the end, I ended up going with number 2 with the goal mouth clear in Game 4 against the Rangers in the first round of the playoffs. Sitting right there in the crease, could have been an easy tap in, but instead Siegs clears a perfect pass into the neutral zone right onto Jack's tape. And then Jack, of course, does his dazzling play and scores the first goal of the game. Now, obviously, the punctuation point on this play is Jack, but that goal mouth clear, not the first time Siegs has done this, was a great play, playoff type game. It's something you're going to remember. And so coming in at number 1 was the game-winning goal that Siegenthaler scored in that very same game against Shesterkin. Of all the guys to solve Shesterkin in that series, of course Siegenthaler was going to be one of them, and it was the game-winning goal. So that is obviously a career highlight for him and for me for Siegs. So yeah, that's a big one. That's a great one. Again, he did that patented about halfway down the left side boards, spin, boom, shot in. That ping off the post was beautiful. I will always remember that as well. That's really going to do it for today's episode. I hope you all have a great start to your week. Hopefully it is a smooth one for all of us. I will see everyone tomorrow morning. Let's go Devils!